Inside Gore Arena, it's a fight for a first-round bye in the Big South Conference Tournament. The Campbell Camels winners 9 of their last 10. Welcome the North Carolina A&T Aggies, who have won 4 straight in Big South play. Along with Tammy Freeze, Evan Budrovich, Garen Yep for first serve tonight. Tammy, these two clubs have won 19 of their last 21 matches. How important is tonight's match to get ready for the conference tournament?
Big implications with this tonight's match. What we might see, NCAT is trying to break into the top 2. Campbell, if they win tonight, along with High Point, are competing tomorrow for potentially a share of the regular season title. And what we could see here is what we might see in 3 weeks at the Big South Conference Tournament here at Campbell's campus.
North Carolina A&T led by its freshman, Naya Sautel, the most points of any player in this league. How does she feel this offense?
She leads the team. She leads the team in kills and kills per set. That's really impressive as a freshman, playing all 6 rotations, and so they really rely on her to lead their offense.
4.1 points per set, a critical piece for Hal Clifton. Campbell counters with Sarah Kalla, the senior outside hitter, who's up to a .270 hit percentage in league play. How has her offense developed?
Sarah Kalla has just become really strategic with her shots in her senior year, really finding the finesse and nuance to her game, and that's why you've seen her become more consistent. She's just really good at mixing up her shots now.
Kalla in year 4 looks to lead her squad to a regular season title. And Tammy, for the head coaches, Hal Clifton in year 9. This is their first year in the Big South Conference. What have you liked about his development of this program?
Hal's been there a while, and I've liked that. He's just really prepared his team to come in being competitive in the Big South. I'm really impressed with their attacking and blocking. They're second in efficiency for Big South, and they're a really great blocking team.
His coaching counterpart, Greg Gorel, is also in year 9. And Tammy, this is a big weekend for Campbell. The top 2 teams in the league come to this campus. How does his club raise up to the challenge?
I think you see them ready. This team that Coach Gorel has is probably their most experienced. It's the best record they've had in conference at this point. And they're just looking to pass well because they know when they do, they're going to just hit really, really well, and teams can't stop them.
For a first-round bye in the Big South Conference Tournament, the Campbell Camels winners 9 of their last 10. Welcome the North Carolina A&T Aggies, who have won 4 straight in Big South play. Along with Tammy Freeze, Evan Budrovich, Garen Yep for first serve tonight. Tammy, these two clubs have won 19 of their last 21 matches. How important is tonight's match to get ready for the conference tournament?
Big implications with this tonight's match. What we might see, NCAT is trying to break into the top 2. Campbell, if they win tonight, along with High Point, are competing tomorrow for potentially a share of the regular season title. And what we could see here is what we might see in 3 weeks at the Big South Conference Tournament here at Campbell's campus.
North Carolina A&T led by its freshman, Naya Sautel, the most points of any player in this league. How does she feel this offense?
She leads the team. She leads the team in kills and kills per set. That's really impressive as a freshman, playing all 6 rotations, and so they really rely on her to lead their offense.
4.1 points per set, a critical piece for Hal Clifton. Campbell counters with Sarah Kalla, the senior outside hitter, who's up to a .270 hit percentage in league play. How has her offense developed?
Sarah Kalla has just become really strategic with her shots in her senior year, really finding the finesse and nuance to her game, and that's why you've seen her become more consistent. She's just really good at mixing up her shots now.
Kalla in year 4 looks to lead her squad to a regular season title. And Tammy, for the head coaches, Hal Clifton in year 9. This is their first year in the Big South Conference. What have you liked about his development of this program?
Hal's been there a while, and I've liked that. He's just really prepared his team to come in being competitive in the Big South. I'm really impressed with their attacking and blocking. They're second in efficiency for Big South, and they're a really great blocking team.
His coaching counterpart, Greg Gorel, is also in year 9. And Tammy, this is a big weekend for Campbell. The top 2 teams in the league come to this campus. How does his club raise up to the challenge?
I think you see them ready. This team that Coach Gorel has is probably their most experienced. It's the best record they've had in conference at this point. And they're just looking to pass well because they know when they do, they're going to just hit really, really well, and teams can't stop them.
Well, Tammy, the last time these teams met, it was a 5-set thriller in Greensboro. Both coaches mentioned they watched a lot of tape on that matchup. How do you prepare from a 5-set marathon in October to this important matchup tonight?
You watch everything about that last match, and you want to see what you did well, what worked against their offense, their defense. How do you adjust your block? How do you adjust your defense? But you don't, stray too far from what has been working.
Along with Tammy Freeze, Evan Budrovich with you tonight, and an ace gets things started by Emily Mitter. Well, that ball's called up on the floor instead. So Layla Green misses long, and our head referee wants a check of the call here on the very first point.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that ball was down.
Already initial discussion with our head judge and our line referee. Because, Tammy, that ball clearly seemed in for an ace on the very first serve of the game.
That ball looked to me like it touched the ground. And there you go. There's the up ref making that decision after talking to the line judge. You don't want to challenge on the first point either, so.
So that is ruled an ace. Here's Mitter to serve again. Greg Gorel mentioned his serving has to be better to win this matchup. North Carolina A&T, its first point. That's Fatima Shabazz, the right side redshirt senior. Now back to serve for the Aggies. Hannah Howell, the true freshman from St. Louis Park, Minnesota. Dangerous serve to Layla Green. When these teams met in early October, North Carolina A&T, 16 blocks at the net. They were dominant in the front row.
Very good blocking team. Very offensive. And you see right there, Layla Green making sure this time that she doesn't swing into the block, but that causing her to go really high above them.
The Aggies have won 4 straight, and they've done it with that front row. 2.5 blocks a set. That's the best in the conference. And the best opponent hit percentage. They really make life tough for opposing offenses. Layla Green goes behind the slide. And now Edie Brewer on the set. Tanaya Sautel, that is into the back line. North Carolina A&T leaning on the freshman early. Mitter on the move, goes middle, and a quick kill for Haley Wilson. Greg Gorel mentioned Campbell must involve their middles more. That's a good start right there.
That's exactly what Campbell wants to do. When they're in system like that, they know they can set their middles, and they know they're going to have a one-on-one against A&T's block, and that just gives so much space to Haley Wilson to put the ball away.
Wilson's averaging 2 kills a set. There's her first, and Edie Brewer to free it over. Mitter running the 5-2, finds Chloe Cook. And the freshman, who's won 3 Freshman of the Weeks in the spring, picks up another kill to start this match.
And again, Campbell taking that free ball, passing it up, and allowed Chloe Cook to have a one-on-one.
There's Green on the service. Campbell in the spring led the conference in serves. There's a high bump to Cook, who goes off the noggin, and it stays in. Good save by Green. That hit the head that time of Shabazz. A&T plays a scrappy defense. That was the note from Greg Gorel, and they lean on the wall of Patterson for the roof.
Campbell, a very good defensive team. They get a lot of digs up, which allows them to get a lot of attempts. They lead, they're up there in attempts for the conference, and that allows them to get a lot of swings, which can result in kills.
Layla Green, one of 2 players with 200 or more points for this offense. It's a balanced attack. There's an antenna touch for Shabazz. And Tammy, both these teams have played well. In fact, Campbell, 13 of its last 14 wins. There's the front line causing some trouble. There's Layla Green on the service. That is deep, challenging the libero, Andrea LeBoy Rivera. And a kill to the outside. Nia Sautel, her second. Tammy, she's 3rd in the conference in kills per set. How does Hal Clifton feed her early in this match?
Well, she's already gotten quite a few attempts, you can see, and she's thrown some different shots already. And I think that speaks to what Hal wants her to do against this Campbell team.
So LeBoy Rivera, who was the libero of the week, breaking a run of Claire Fector. She had won 2 of the last 3. And there's a lift for Campbell, an overswing. Kind of like we expected, 5-5 in this first set. They went to 5 sets in Greensboro back on October 10th. That match had 5 lead changes in the final set. It was a grueling match for both clubs.
I think we'll see that again tonight.
How so?
It's, again, that hitting efficiency. You have 2 really efficient teams and 2 really good defensive teams.
Chloe Cook misses wide on the tip over the net. So the Aggies lead by 1.
It's interesting so far. You see almost all the hitters trying a little something. They're not swinging away necessarily on their second, third attempts. They're trying to test out the defense.
There's a deep float serve defector. Wilson off the net, and it's freed over. Crazy dig by Porcher. Patterson through the hands of Porcher. Cook. Oh, that ball's in and down for the point. It's a legal double touch. Tammy, explain how that happens for Chloe Cook.
Well, actually, I'm not even sure, because I guess they count that as a block, then she can play it again. So you can block and
even
then
if
touch
no
it
one's
again.
there to apply the block.
I don't know that I would have made that call. I actually think that is a double.
And Hal Clifton's asking that exact question right now, Tammy, because no one was at the net to play that point.
No, that was a ball that just came over, and Chloe was going to play it back over, but they are definitely counting that as a block. So again, if you do a block touch, but usually that has to come off of a swing.
Nia Sautel back to work off the net. Wow, good hands from Haley Wilson that time. Both these teams 1 and 2 in hit percentage in the Big South. As Cook rolls to the back row. Overpass is detonated out. That's the effort of Hannah Howell to keep the ball alive. Here's Addie Warfield to serve, the junior out of Winter Springs, Florida. And that float serve goes nowhere. Second service error for the Aggies in this first set. We asked Greg Gorel coming in the importance of this weekend with A&T and High Point these next 2 days. He said it's crucial. Our club must win these 2 matches to set themselves up for the tournament.
Yes, I think Campbell's really looking. They want either that top spot or the top 2. That way they can have that bye at home. They'll be here for the Big South Conference Tournament and their home gym. And they want to save their energy for just 2 matches back-to-back to win that championship.
Here's Kala off hands, dug up by Howell. Tight on the net and a violation. A&T into the net. Porcher.
Yeah, I believe Addie Warfield came over that center line quite a bit, and you can't do that far if you're interrupting a play.
So Maddie Miner in to serve. She's second in the conference in aces. Campbell needs to serve much better. They've dropped to 7th in the league in ace percentage, but they draw a point on serve with a net violation. Not always about the aces, but effective serving nonetheless.
Absolutely. If Addie Warfield, again, having to play a really tight pass, trying to save it and touch the bottom of the net.
Here's the 5th-year senior, Maddie Miner, one of 5 seniors on this roster. And Howell has trouble with the serve. There's an ace for Miner. Miner to serve it in. Targets Sautel. Now Brewer offhand. She's a 6 rotation setter for this team. Kala over Brewer and in.
And that's just the type of swing that Sarah Kala is great at. Powerful swing to get Campbell going.
Timeout, North Carolina A&T. We take the break as well here in set 1.
We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Tammy Freeze, Evan Budrovich on the call for set one. Campbell and North Carolina A&T. As the senior Maddie Miner, 2 aces followed by a service error, gives it right back. How important will serving be in tonight's matchup?
Both teams are going to be looking to get each other out of system. You want to be aggressive. Interesting enough, both teams have missed the serve short, so I would be aggressive and push those players deep.
That's a double touch on Miner, and she gives the point right back. Her development crucial as she sits on 118 career matches. What's the value of having that fifth-year senior setting up your offense?
Just that experience, that IQ of knowing what to do in an offense at this point, because she's had so much experience over her years.
She's teed it up for 57 career double-doubles, and there's a touch of that off Chloe Cook, point A&T. And now Nia Sautel, who's asked to do so much in this offense, she's back to serve. 4.1 points per set. That's among the nation's top 20 in the country. Such an efficient scorer. Miner, high back set to Cook, who puts it away. What have you seen here from Chloe Cook, who sits on 16 kills the last time these teams met? Where's her development been?
She's trying to also just throw different shots, be more efficient, throw some off speed. You'll see her tipping more, I think, so doing some roll shots that you didn't see earlier on this season with her.
Here's your first look at Mallory Porcher on the service line, the junior from Orlando, Florida. Boy, has she been a presence at the front row. 4 straight matches with 5 blocks. Big reason why North Carolina A&T leads the conference in blocking. And Green goes right through it with her kill. Only 12 swings in her last match. Her second results in a kill tonight.
Yeah, Layla Green taking a little bit of break in their last couple matches playing front row, but now back at it for Campbell. Just a smart little roll shot to the middle, testing out the defense if they can get to it.
Call on the float serve. It's good coverage by Maddie Miner. Gross tees it up to Green and into the back corner. Quality touch for Layla Green.
I love that swing by Layla Green. That was a nice cross body shot down the line, which is where you show like you're going to hit one direction and you hit the other direction, and NC A&T was not quite ready for that.
Sarah Cullen now at 3 kills per set. That's the best on this offense. Edie Brewer down line and beats Elise Gross. How about the value of Edie Brewer, who's top 5 in program history in kills, assists, and digs. She does it all for North Carolina A&T.
Just impressive that she does everything for them, from setting to running their offense to then be able to swing like that down the line.
Hal Clifton says what wows her about Edie Brewer is she makes the simple play look so routine as Patterson beats the block, her second kill. But what about a player like Edie Brewer, 6 rotation senior? How does she benefit this club?
Again, back to that experience, not only experience in just running the offense and knowing what to do against other teams, but the offense she provides as a hitter and that leadership.
Nia Sautel from the back row misses long. Because if North Carolina A&T is going to make a run in this conference tournament, they need players like Edie Brewer to step up. She was the player of the year in the MEAC the last 2 years. Can that translate to this year's conference tournament? You're a new fish in a bigger pond and trying to make a splash as the number 3 seed right now.
I think absolutely, because she's competitive. She's going to want to have her team in a good place. She's going to want to prove herself.
And that sets it up for Fatima Shabazz with her second kill. This is a huge stretch for North Carolina A&T. Campbell tonight, Hampton, and then High Point and Upstate. 3 of the top 4 teams in this league in the next 2 weeks. This is a crucial juncture for A&T.
Absolutely. That's a tough schedule, very tough schedule. And I know they're looking to get this first win on the road tonight.
There's a float serve in from El Hariche. Patterson through the block. Greg Gorel mentioned his hitters must be less predictable to slow down this block, and it's put down for a point. Naya Sautel doing it all.
Nice heads-up play by Naya Sautel to see that. Campbell crashing to the net, expecting, getting ready for a block, and then it goes over, and then she's able to tip it to the deep court.
So it makes A&T dangerous. Their front row presence. 3 blocks a set, and on cue, Shy Hall puts it away.
Shy Hall, just one of the best blockers on their team. She just gets so high, but she has a great press. You see her really getting over on the other side, on Campbell's side of the net.
Morgan Allen back in to serve, the sophomore out of Charlotte. Here's Patterson. That's through the hands. Edie Brewer, so patient on the move, finding Sautel, and Fector could not save it. 3 straight points for A&T. Forcing a timeout for Greg Gorel. And Tammy, early on, we've seen the strength of what both these teams can do. What have you thought about the back and forth play here in set 1, especially from A&T?
It's good. It's controlled. Honestly, it's a little slow for these teams. You're not starting to see the hitters get into a flow with power, but not as much as I've seen both these teams do before. So I think that speaks to they're really thinking about the game plan that their coaches has probably set before them.
You mentioned the game plan. Here's where it matters in the Big South, because right now we sit with 3 weeks to go. The winner of this game, Tammy, is in huge position to guarantee a top 2 spot where you get a bye in the first round. So why is tonight's match so important?
Because you want that top 2 spot. You want to go into the Big South tournament with you get a little bit of break. You don't have to play those first round matches. You can scout more. You can therefore get more prepared. And then it's 2 matches. It's 1 match to win. You get into the championship, and then you have another match that gets you a championship.
North Carolina A&T won the last 2 MEAC championships, even an NCAA tournament win in the spring by forfeit nonetheless. Hal Clifton said, we want to prove we belong in this league, and clearly this next 2 weeks is a huge step for A&T.
It will come down to what they can do against Campbell. As you said, USC Upstate, very competitive program, and High Point. But I must say, I think A&T is doing a great job showing they belong in this conference already.
What they've done is win 4 straight in the league, and the block goes out. That's a point for Layla Green.
And yes, up ref overruling the line judge. I agree with that. I didn't see any touch. That was a good press by A&T, but that ball was out.
Edie Brewer wants a review on this call. It was very close at the net. Hal Clifton is considering a challenge here.
I think Coach Clifton knows it's just too early. You don't want to waste a challenge, and you know this match could go long.
There's a deep serve, dumped down by Cook and saved. This is a 3rd touch legal. Allen gets it over. Mitter out to Cook. Through the block. And Chloe Cook with her 3rd kill.
Great job by Chloe Cook, seeing the seam in that block. And that's kudos to Haley Wilson. She driving in, getting up in the air, making that middle blocker. Second guess where the ball's going.
Cook and Green each with 3 kills tonight. Brewer, dump set, beautiful.
Again, that speaks to that experience, that setter. Edie Brewer knowing what the offense is doing. Interesting, that was a setter done by NCAT. Usually we see that from Campbell before anyone else.
These 2 teams have the most points from their setters offensively of any team in the league. Brewer and Minor, so crucial in that department. Fector returns serve. Patterson, an inside slot on the angle there, hits it off Allen. Good save by Fector, the Roy Kent of this club. Covers a lot of ground and sets it up for Cook with her 4th kill.
That was a nice tempo set by Emily Mitter there to get a good hittable ball out to Chloe Cook. And then a good heads-up play by Chloe Cook again. Nice, different shot, push down the line.
Campbell back up 2 late in the set. Make it 3 with the dump down by Kala. Forcing a timeout for North Carolina A&T. All of a sudden, Tammy, what has Campbell done to pull away on this 4-1 run?
Serving aggressively, really challenging NCAT in serve receive with their passing. Campbell's passing well, more in system. A&T struggling a little bit to have a good pass to set up their offense.
We asked Greg Gorel coming in, how does his team focus on tonight and lean on their strengths? Well, Tammy, as you see in the Big South, these teams do the exact same things well. Kills per set, digs, they're scrappy defensive clubs. It's a frustrating matchup for two head coaches.
Usually it's going to come down to who makes a little bit less errors, who gets a few more kills, most likely when you have such a tight match in these two teams, this matchup.
What's going to be the difference maker? How do these teams figure out when you're playing basically yourself in terms of style?
I think Campbell, they got to continue to have their balance offense that they speak to about a lot. They spread out their offense, and it's just making sure they continue not to make errors. I think A&T needs to get Naya going a little bit more, get their middles going to challenge Campbell on their defense.
A 4-1 run has put Campbell up 3. Factor the deep serve to Rivera, and it's scooped down by Chloe Cook, the lefty, with her 5th kill.
Just good heads-up play there at the net by Chloe Cook. And not to put it like straight down, she moved it around a little bit to make it more challenging to get up.
When these teams met in October, it was a 5-set thriller. Here to end the month, they're a tight first set with the roof from Kala.
And that's another reason Sarah Kala, just a dominant right side hitter and blocker in her senior year, just really doing really well.
Factor continues the rally. This is a 6-1 run. Overhands and out. Fatima Shabazz on the miss, and A&T now hitting 140 in this set. Campbell's nearly doubling them with 12 kills in set 1. Now Factor tries to put away the first set. Brewer bump sets from the back row, and Sautel rolls it over. Here's Cook. She's been in fuego in the set, and the ball goes out. Set point for Campbell.
Claire Vector was there just in case that ball was going to go in, but that was good eyes on seeing that ball going out.
A&T, they've won 4 straight matches and have only dropped 2 sets in that stretch. In danger here on set point. Brewer back set. Shabazz down line and beautiful. Okay, Tammy, how does A&T extend this match and grind out, what, 5-6 straight points?
They're going to get back to what they do well with that blocking, putting more pressure on Campbell's hitters here. And then turn it around and just be in system so E. Brewer can set up her hitters better.
Mitter pushes out to Kala, and with hands at the net, Campbell takes set 1, 25-18. That was the Chloe Cook show in the first set. 6 kills. Campbell takes the lead, 25-18 through set 1. We'll have more from Gore Arena right after this.
We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell.
Okay, Tammy, Campbell wins set one, 25-18. Chloe Cook put on a show, 6 kills on 10 attacks. How did she take over late in this first set?
Chloe has really challenged NCAT's defense with different swings. She's come out with some power swings, some shots down the line, some roll shots to the middle, just swinging with a lot of confidence, and you can see she's ready.
She's had a nice stretch here as of late. When you consider 4 of her last 5 matches in double figures, how does this offense work better when a player like her complements what Layla Green and Sarah Kalla can do on that front row?
It just gives the setter so much options, and it gives the opponents so much to worry about. I mean, a lot of times you'll see teams that, they have one dominant hitter, they'll have 2 dominant hitters. And with Campbell, you see like 3 pens plus their middles, all hitting so well, and allows the hitters to do, setters to do so much with their offense.
A&T hit 125 in that first set. Campbell hit 280. How do they continue that level of offensive success in set 2?
Will be interesting to see if A&T tries to serve more aggressive and serve more to Chloe Cook, more to Layla Green. And then I think NCAT is going to look to continue to put up a good block, but they got to get their offense going. They need Naya Sautel to get more attempts and see what she can do.
There's an overpass to start off this second set. Downline, Sautel, dug up by Fector. There's a dump set. Neither team getting in rhythm to start this set. Cook off hands. Now a back set from Warfield. That goes out, and a long rally plays to Campbell.
Edie Brewer really trying to challenge that sideline challenge Claire Fector Libera to see if she can get to a tip. Just not quite falling. Interesting enough, A&T has adjusted where they started. So they are starting in a different rotation with Addie Warfield starting in setting versus Edie Brewer.
Brewer dug up by Mitter. That was a great dig. Kalla off hands, and she tools the block.
Campbell starting a little bit differently too. They got Sarah Kalla starting in the front row, a little bit different than how they started the last set. So we're going to see some different matchups this set.
Fector with a deep float serve. And Sautel breaks the block of Kalla. Naya Sautel, a quiet first set, all of a sudden 4 kills tonight.
That's exactly what A&T needs to get themselves going. Have the leader in kills on their team, put away some balls.
A&T during this 4-match win streak, they've limited opponents to a 158 hit percentage, yet Campbell at 275 in that first set. As Cook goes over the wall, Warfield digs it up. Sautel, good run by Factor, covers a ton of ground. And Kala puts it away.
NCAT's libero in a good position there, right where she needed to be for that dig. But Sarah Kala, so much power, as we've talked about her whole career. There's hardly anybody in the conference that hits harder, I think.
And Greg Gorel mentioned not just the power, but the variety of her shots that has developed her offense. Where have you seen that growth from Sarah?
Sarah used to be just a player that just loved to hit a ball really, really hard no matter what. And what you see now is she has learned to use the block more, see her block, use hands, adjust the speed of her shots. I think that's the big difference.
Campbell, 4-1 start to open this second set, grinding out a 25-18 win in set one. Warfield, the new setter in, dug up by Miner. Here's Cook, roll shot, good positioning from A&T defensively. And in transition, ball kept up by Kala, and Green floats it over. Warfield pushes on the slide, and down to the floor, Naya Sautel. A lot of effort from both these teams on that rally.
Impressive touches there by Clarion. It was interesting to see Addie Warfield. She was saying, hey, let's go, run it quick on that free ball, and it went right to Naya Sautel.
6 kills for the true freshman. As Cook adds to her total, 7 kills for Cook, who Tammy now wants double figures in 9 straight matches.
Chloe Cook really coming into her own of just being an effective back row player, passing and digging, as well as her front row play.
Targets Hannah Howell on the serve. And from the slide, Sautel misses wide. That's a great misdirection, but could not find that far line.
And smart by her to be going after Maddie Miner, setter for Campbell, and make her play that first ball so they can't run that fast tempo middle.
Cook on a deep serve to Howell. That goes into the net. The presence of Kala. She didn't get a hand on it, but effective. And now, Tammy, this is a Campbell team, 4 block assists in this match, forcing a timeout from A&T. We'll take it as well. Campbell leads by 5 in set 2. They looked for a 2-0 lead.
We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. We are not merely an institution of higher education.
Chloe Cook in to serve. Campbell leads 7-2 in this second set. Edie Brewer pushes out wide, and Kala climbs the ladder.
Another great setup by Sarah Kala. I think Fatima Shabazz just really struggling to find the court, find what she wants to do against the block.
Fatima Shabazz came in hitting 250 on the season. No answer for Kala as that service error gives it right back. 2 aces, 2 errors for Campbell. That's a number Greg Gorel can live with, especially if his serving can cause trouble for A&T with their passing in system.
And that's what we call a good miss right there. Barely out. It's over the net, pushing them deep, just outside the in line.
Here's Naya Sautel on the service. Not only 4 points a set, leads the team in aces as Page goes into the net. You see communication there between Minor and Page. What are they fixating on between that point?
Probably talking a little bit about just where that ball was. I think Melody Page might have been a little tight, or you could argue that Maddie Minor set it a little too far off for her. I would say probably set it a little too far off to keep it in front of her.
Minor high into the air for Green, who is denied. Mallory Porcher combines with Fatima Shabazz.
And that's what you don't want to do if you're Campbell, though. Layla Green's, 5-6 feet off the net. They set up a very good block, and you can't pull it down into their block.
Sautel clips the net on the serve. Minor puts it on a tray for Sarah Kalla.
You give Sarah Kalla space, she is going to crush the ball. I think she had quite a bit of space there on the line. There's Layla Green's out-of-system hit from earlier.
Kalla challenging Mackenzie Richards, and that's an ace. Boy, the serve receive of A&T has put the Aggies in trouble in this second set.
That's another area of the game that we don't talk about much with Sarah Kalla, but her serving has improved so much as far as accuracy and just really consistent jump float that's really hard to pass.
In system, Porcher to the floor. A&T fed the middles tremendously when these first teams met. 20 points combined from the middles. How do they get middle blockers more involved as this match continues?
You pass like that. That was a great pass. That's what A&T has to do. They have to have those better passes. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be in front of the attack line.
And it leads to an ace for Mallory Porcher. She's known for her blocking, second in the league, but the serving is a hidden attribute that makes both these teams so competitive.
It's always great to have a middle that can come serve and come in and run it and play defense.
That serve clips the net to Cook. Boy, Minor dumps in a tough angle, and that's a point. Such a difficult play for the fifth-year senior.
It wasn't a question of if Maddie Minor will dump, it was going to be when, and she's going to held out to this second set. And that's not her typical one to the middle of the court. That was a sneaky one to the left front.
So Minor subs out in this rotation. Here's Emily Mitter, part of that 5-2 offense. Brewer tight to the net. And Richards is denied. Wilson gets her paws on it. We mentioned coming in, A&T's block, dominant, best in the Big South. What have you seen from Campbell's block tonight?
I think they're really owning the net, setting up really well. And part of that, again, has been getting A&T out of system just like that. Another tough serve where A&T's not passing.
That's 4 aces, including Emily Mitter with her first. We asked Hal Clifton keys for success. He said serve receive is numero uno. His team has struggled in that department tonight. There's a tip on the swing by Shea Hall. And Cook digs it out of play. Point North Carolina A&T. That stops a 5-0 run.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a different energy in this match so far versus last time watching these two teams play. More emotional last time, definitely more, I feel like, energized early on, where here, I think they're just playing really controlled. They have a lot they're trying to focus on.
Cook to the floor to get that serve up. And Green launches it long. We've seen a renaissance in Layla Green's game, but Tammy in her last 5 matches hitting below 200. How does she get her rhythm here on the outside?
Layla Green has struggled sometimes with her out-of-system swings. She just needs to, I think she worries too much about the block a little bit. She just needs to swing how she knows how to swing, finish her arm swing a little bit more.
In the spring, she was second in the conference in points. There's Exhibit A, touching the back line.
Just like that. Her last swing, just kind of let it go, didn't necessarily finish. There's a swing where she's more purposeful, finishes her follow-through.
You mentioned that purpose. She was preseason all-conference entering the year. How do you handle that expectation as a former player when all eyes are on you in the scouting report every night?
I think you got to remember that you have confidence that you are prepared to do what you do and rely on this experience you've had.
That was a mishit by Haley Wilson trying to save it. So point for A&T. The Aggies still hitting negative hit percentage in this set, and only their 3rd kill right here.
Another good heads-up play by Edie Brewer, trying to just test Campbell's defense out, make the setter play the first ball.
That's a great dig by Warfield, and Fechter trying to save it that time, knocks it out. 2 straight points for the Aggies. Hannah Howell's been a neat story. Did not get her first appearance till the end of September against Wake Forest. She came in and had 12 kills. Ever since, averaging 3 points per set. Sits in the back row and is beaten by Haley Wilson in system.
I think that was a little bit of an easy serve there. Campbell able to transition that into a kill.
Warfield tight to the net. It won't matter for Porcher. Fechter high to Cook. That's through the block, and Chloe Cook up to 8 kills. Campbell leads by 5 in this second set. These teams went 5 sets when they last met. It's been all Campbell tonight with another block for Wilson. Timeout, North Carolina A&T. Tammy's, what's been the difference here in set 2?
I think it's been Campbell blocking's been a big difference, whether it's Haley Wilson, Sarah Kalla, Ananda Patterson, or Chloe Cook. They're just doing a really good job of owning the nets, making it tough on A&T's hitters.
Tammy, this is a matchup of setters entering this game, and what we've seen is Maddie Miner and Edie Brewer be 2 of the best. But so far in this match, it's been Miner with the double-figure assists. Brewer only has 1 assist. Certainly serving's been a story for these 2.
Yes, A&T, just a lot of their passes being around the attack line or past it. That makes it harder on the setters to run a complete offense. They haven't been able to get their middles up and hitting that quick tempo, so then they're setting their pins, and that gives Campbell plenty of time to set up their block. What
a spoil of riches for these 2 head coaches. 2 of the top 5 in assists per set and running 5-2 systems. Those numbers would be doubled as the lead assist getters. What do you like about both these setters?
Being experienced like they are, they do try to get the ball to their middles even when they're off the net. They know who to go to by looking across the net, seeing where the block is, and setting up plays.
So Claire-Ann Fechter in to serve. She has exploded as of late. 5.5 digs per set. That's 19th best in the country. And she gets an ace to add to it.
Miscommunication there by A&T between the setter and the libero of taking that second ball that Edie Brewer passed.
We asked Coach Ryan Mason, the lead assistant, what is the best attribute of Fechter? He said she can cover all the ground in the world, and there's Wilson manning her post at the net.
Haley Wilson, senior middle blocker. Another great setup by Sarah Kalla. And look at that press over the net.
There is no angle on that swing for Shabazz. Now Warfield goes back row to Brewer, and Fechter just bumped it up. Here's Green from the back row. A&T with a net violation. They lead the conference in blocks. Tammy, in this matchup, only 1 solo block through 2 sets.
I'm really surprised by that A&T has struggled so much tonight to get a block from Campbell, but kudos to the Campbell's offense, to the hitters being more strategic with where they are hitting the ball, hitting high on the hands of the block, hitting around the block, hitting off speed over the block.
Here's Fechter continuing to serve. She's riding a streak of 10 straight matches with double-figure digs. She already has 5 so far. Make it 6. Now Cook adjusts her angle and finds the floor. What a creative roll shot.
I think that's such an impressive swing. That's the adjustment Chloe Cook has made this season. Campbell early on struggling with what we call out of system. That's about 10 feet off the net, and she just goes up and puts it in the middle of court.
Sautel through the block and tooling it off the hands of Haley Wilson. So Nia Sautel has 6 kills. She also has 6 errors in this matchup. How has Campbell slowed her down?
Again, the A&T couldn't pass up to the net, so they're not running their middles, and therefore the block knows it's going to Naya Sautel on the outside, and they're setting up early, and that's really hard for a hitter.
Sautel leads this conference in points, yet has really struggled to get her swing tonight. There's Sautel, and there you go. 7th kill for Sautel, is up to 7.5 points. In fact, for Naya, she's 69th in the country, chasing McKenna Melville of UCF for the nation's lead with plays like this.
Yeah, that one she's up early. Again, the double block's there, but she just swings hard into that seam.
A&T finally hitting a 0 hit percentage in this set. Really struggling to get their offense going. 8 errors. Credit Campbell's front line as Mitter tiptoes the net. And Cook gets contact. So Chloe Cook, double figure kills. Where has she come alive all of a sudden?
Chloe's acting like she doesn't have a block up there. Well, that time she swung off the edge of the block. And again, she's just mixing it up. Every single shot she's thrown tonight has been different. Very purposeful, though. She's going up with a plan.
Chloe Cook, her career high is 13. That number might change tonight with already 10. Sautel off the hands of Scala. That's an antenna violation. So we've seen Naya Sautel become a huge piece of this offense. How does Hal Clifton manage, without the middle block tonight, of getting their outsides more involved?
I think they're starting to go to Naya Sautel. You see she's finding a rhythm. She's starting to swing harder than I think she had in the first set.
Sautel calling for it, and the dump set is scooped up for the point. Crafty play from Edie Brewer, who now comes in to serve.
Yeah, and A&T's got to, they rely on Naya Sautel, they rely on Edie Brewer, and they just need to get one of their other hitters going here, and I think they'll be back in this game.
Kala, that is out. What a dodge effort from Andrea LeBoy Rivera, nearly hit her head, and it is ruled a point. There's a touch for A&T.
I believe it was net call by the down ref, yes, on one of the blockers. I didn't quite see who it was.
Yeah, let's check out that net here on this swing. Might take a second to get to you, a little farther ahead. Oh, that's the other point. But nonetheless, that is ruled a net violation. Here's Page off the block in the hands of Maya Johnson.
It's a good setup there by A&T. They're keying in on Melody Page. Melody Page, I believe that was her first swing, if not, or maybe second of the set of the night. That's someone they usually rely on early to get going, and we haven't seen that yet with Page.
Well, Chloe Cook is eating up the swings, 21 attacks. Here's Page on the slide. Sautel gets her hands on it. Now a free ball by Brewer. Minor, the dump, and it is perfect. Oh, a double touch on Maddie Minor. So instead, the head ref calls a violation, point A&T.
And that's sometimes so subjective. It kind of depends on your up referee, what they decide. But now that you're calling that, you set the precedence that the referee has.
That is a rocket by Kala to the back row, her 7th.
Again, nice pass up in system. A&T has to worry a little bit about Melody Page to give Sarah Kala space.
Sarah Kala hitting 245 in Big South play. That's the best on this offense. Tonight she's hitting 700 through 2 sets. Set point for the Camels, dug up by Kala. Patterson off hands, and LeBoy Rivera keeps it up. Sautel, that's a swing in defense. There's Page off the hands, and the point goes down. Campbell takes set 2, 25-17. And with a 2-set lead, Tammy, it's been the serving of the Camels tonight to put them up 2 sets early.
Serving aggressively definitely has put A&T in a tough position, not being able to get all their hitters going. Naya Sautel coming alive a little bit more of that set.
So when we come back, more from our halftime report. Campbell takes the first 2 sets, looking to close this match out in straight sets right after this.
We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell.
Welcome back inside Gore Arena, along with Tammy Freeze, Evan Budrovich. Tammy, it's a tale of two dominant sets for Campbell. We'll show you some stats here in a second. Campbell hits 290 in these first two sets. A&T the best opponent hit percentage in the Big South. How have the Campbells broken the block of A&T today?
I think Campbell has passed more in system than they have in previous matches, which is exactly what Coach Girl said they needed to do. It has allowed them to really have their middles, whether the middles get set or not, going up for a hit, and then they set their pins, which is opening up the block on A&T.
Here's the full story. Clearly the assists, very crucial. Campbell spread out the ball, but at the aces in these first two sets, how has Campbell serving opened up its offense today?
Campbell's aggressive serving has caused A&T to not be in system, so not having that ball up at the net where the setters can really run their middles again, which opens up the offense for your outsides. If you can't establish that, then Campbell gets to set up their block early on the pins of A&T.
How about an infectious student section tonight? Campbell in the last 3 years, 21-6 at home. It's a confidence Greg Gorel built from those two road matches at A&T and High Point. How has that environment maybe motivated this team tonight?
This team really wants to see that environment, I think, here in 3 weeks as well. But they love playing at home. Campbell loves playing at home. And I think what you see in the stands, there's a lot of other student athletes here from Campbell supporting their team.
You spent years on this coaching staff as a volunteer assistant. How much do the players feed off the energy in this environment?
A lot. Definitely a lot. They love to have fans in the stands and cheering for them and playing for their crowd.
Good start to set 3. Edie Brewer with the roof. That's like the one area Brewer's not in the top 10 in A&T history is blocks, but there she is pressing down.
A really nice press there. You see her hands get over the net. That's what you want to see in a block. Set up really well, and you want to get over into your opponent's space.
A&T 19th in the country in total blocks, over 200 this year. And Patterson touches the far line, beating the block for her first kill.
Nanda Patterson, another right side pin for Campbell, but made that adjustment this year. She'd previously been playing in the middle hitter. So it's nice to see her on that right side.
Campbell with 4 aces in the first 2 sets, but no answer for Shy Hall in the middle. The senior out of Raleigh went to Gardner Magnet right here 30 minutes up the road, and she's playing with confidence. So the float serve into Green. Midder out to Kala, who hit 700 in the first 2 sets and has no chance against Shea Hall.
Shea Hall showing how big she can be up at that net. No matter how high she gets, she's pressing over. I mean, that's just a tight, tight space for you, Sarah Kala, to have to work around.
Hall rises again, gets her hand on it. Point Campbell in the kill by Chloe Cook.
Everything is falling for Chloe Cook tonight. I would continue to set her as well.
10 kills on 22 attacks. That's a winning formula for Greg Goro. So here's Maddie Miner, the senior captain, to serve. There's a challenging return for Hannah Howell. And Muhammad is dug out. Shabazz, I mean. Remind of the NBA player Shabazz Muhammad of UCLA formerly. No relation. Fatima Shabazz dug up. So Sautel scoops it over. Here's Kala. Off hands. And LeBoy Rivera missed it. Sarah Kala up to 8 kills, hitting 500 in this match. How is she dominated on the outside?
She continues to swing hard, and she's given a lot of space, so they haven't quite, A&T has not figured out how to get that double block up on Sarah Kala.
Playing more like the hitter who was the preseason player of the year in the spring, as Miner with the ace, rising up those league rankings. She entered 4th, had a chance to slide into 2nd in the Big South in total aces, so she adds 3 to her totals. I mentioned the importance of serving coming in. That's been a huge factor, slowing down A&T's attack. The Aggies hitting 100. Campbell, not as much, as Page misses long. Here in set 3, a bit of a different story offensively. And only 3 attacks for Page tonight.
Yes, Campbell, unusual not to set Melody Page, especially from the get-go, but has not had many attempts, and she seems a little frustrated more so than she typically is.
When these teams met on October 12th, Campbell won the first 2 sets as Miners called for the double touch. A&T came back and won the final 2 sets to force set 5. How do the Aggies repeat that formula tonight?
I think getting their offense going now, which they're starting to do, they've set their middles a little bit more already, and that's going to help them open it up for their pin hitters. Nia
Sautel had 13 kills and a double-double in that matchup. The craziest part was Shea Hall had 11 blocks. The team combined for 16 blocks. That's the most they've had all season. Greg Goro really took note of that when we talked to leading into this matchup.
Yes, I think Coach Goro showed his team video of them and what their block did against their offense so they could practice that this week in the gym.
And that offense is hitting over 280 in this match. Another kill for Hannah Howell. And here come the Aggies up 1.
The coach is calling for 4 hits, 4 touches. You see 1 there. Unless they think that both Edie and Edie Brewer and their teammate touched it. I didn't quite see it.
Hannah Howell wants to build on her strong 3rd set offensively. Maddie Miner pleading her case to our head referee. And now Miner gets her answer, explains it to the head coach. You do get 2 challenges per set, so an opportunity for Greg Goro if he wants.
I think knowing that they are up 2-0 and in this position 5-6, again, a little early just in case this match goes longer.
That's a hard play to overturn as well in a double touch. So Minor goes back to work. Kala on a tee finds the back line.
Nice reverse set there by Maddie Minor. And I think A&T's block is a little late actually on Sarah Kala. She's really getting up there though too, contacting at a high point. Yeah, you can see the block not quite in the air there.
So Kala up to 9 kills. And with that point out, Campbell has regained the lead. Think about this match coming in. A&T, the best opponent hit percentage in the Big South. Campbell's swinging 270. That's higher than any team in the league has done all season long against the Aggies.
That's impressive. I think Campbell, a lot of confidence in the hitters tonight.
Downline shot by Shabazz is dug up. Green, cross court to Sautel. Here's Hannah Howell. Nice roll shot to the back row, testing Sarah Kala. Green's turn from the 10-foot line. Brewer eyes her target, goes middle, and that is in. Maya Johnson finds the near line.
Maya Johnson, I think, was trying to find Maddie Minor back there, making that play towards the setter, and it fell right there towards the sideline.
These are two of the scrappiest teams defensively and opponent hit percentage you'll see in the conference. They're playing like it here in set 3. Minor goes middle, the double slide is blocked. Out to Green, third time rejected. Minor avoids traffic. Roll shot, scooped, saved, and over, but a fourth touch for Johnson. What a scrappy point midway through set 3.
And you see there that first one, second, third touch, fourth there. A&T working much though more on that block and setting it up for those for Campbell's outsides.
Greg Gorel said to win this match, his team must be gritty. They have to score points in tough ways. What have you seen from them through 2 sets?
I've seen more aggressive swings there, like on that last one by Chloe Cook, setting up Layla Green. They've been more aggressive with their out-of-system swings, which is really important. And it's an area that Campbell struggled with early on the season.
Because you look with 3 weeks to go, Tammy, this conference is coming down to the wire. Campbell, High Point, A&T, all in the top 3 spots. Winning these matchups is crucial to earning that top 2 seed.
And you want to win this match, so if you see this again in 3 weeks, then you can say, hey, we beat them last time.
That conference tournament is right here in Gore Arena 3 weeks from this day, November 19th. Patterson, tough roll shot, and finds the floor. Not the way she drew it up, but there's her 3rd kill.
It's a tough ball to hit on. Again, you talk about out of system. Out of system means someone other than the setter, there Chloe Cook, setting up the ball from way off the net.
Howell off the hands of Wilson. We've seen Campbell's block be impressive, 5 combined blocks. Sautel saves it. The pancake is good, but no one to help out Hannah Howell. Campbell leads by 3. Tammy, to hit 256 in a match for 3 sets, that's unprecedented. How has Campbell continued that success?
Swinging like that, causing confusion there, the lack of communication in A&T's defense.
And there's an ace. This leads balloon to 4. We have a timeout called by North Carolina A&T. Campbell looks for a straight set win. We'll give you the rest of set 3 when we come back.
We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities, in our state, and throughout the world.
Leaders in innovation.
Leaders in service to our neighbors.
Join our movement. Join our community. Join our mission. Lead with purpose. Lead with Campbell. We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
Leaders in our communities. In our state.
We are not merely an institution of higher education. We are transforming lives and empowering students to become leaders.
For North Carolina A&T coming up, Tammy. Radford and High Point, the top team in the league. How do the Aggies finish out this season strong with just 3 weeks left?
They want to play competitively against High Point for sure, and just make sure they take care of the teams they beat again.
Layla Green misses long, so it's a 3-point difference. Last thing you want to do if you're A&T is break this 4-game win streak and fall back towards the meat of the conference with Upstate and Winthrop and Presbyterian trying to climb into the top 6.
Yes, they want to take care of those teams that they definitely beat before and play competitively against High Point to try to get into that top 2. And
Wilson in system. It's been an impressive match for Haley Wilson. 4 kills on 7 attacks and 5 blocks for the senior.
Yeah, she doesn't get a lot of attempts, but when she does, she's putting the ball away. And her blocking presence, whether she gets the actual touch, but she's taking up space, which is so important.
Campbell with 12 block assists in this match. Really tripling their numbers entering this one. As Cook rolls over the block, LeBoy saves it. Oh boy, whoop, whoop, there's a point. A lot of slipping and sliding on that return.
A little chaotic there.
As a coach, you've been in those moments. This is a sport where you have to hit the reset button. How do you do it after a play as sloppy as that?
Just communication amongst your players, and you can see Campbell just talk to each other. Let's reset. Call that ball a little louder next time.
Dangerous serve from Howell. Patterson off balance is scooped up by Sautel. And Howell from the back row. Here's Cook. She's been impressive tonight. Double-figure kills. The overpass is dumped to the middle, and Wilson with her 6th kill. You see this weekend, Tammy, what an important match for Campbell coming up. They face High Point. That's a battle for first place if both teams win tonight.
Battle for first place. Perhaps a showing of what they could see championship Sunday.
There's a double touch and a block. That's some food for thought for Haley Wilson as this lead balloons to 5.
I guess they won't count that in the stats there, but another great setup with her and Sarah Kalla.
When you see that graphic, you see High Point and Campbell. 1st and 2nd in the spring standings, 1st and 2nd in the fall. How important is that matchup, especially with the tournament starting in 3 weeks?
I think very important because both coaches, Campbell's fighting to be, tying and having to share that regular season. They want to show High Point that they're just not going to run away with the conference. And meanwhile, High Point knows that Campbell is one of the best contenders in their competition at this point before the tournament.
There's Kalla off balance getting a touch. That's a tight set to Sautel, and Green is everywhere. Cook, beautiful finish. 12 kills for Chloe Cook, who's 4 digs away from a double-double.
There's just no stopping Chloe Cook tonight. And I think Campbell usually has a balanced offense, and you'll see there, Emily Minner knows where to go. She's just unstoppable tonight.
Hitting .320 as an outside hitter. She was the freshman of the year, feels like 8 years ago back in the spring. Now Brewer goes middle. There's Cook all over it. Back to Page in system for the point, and getting the middle is more involved in set 3.
A&T you can't send a ball over like that. It's basically a free ball to Campbell. And most of the time, when they're in system again, they're going to go to their middle because it's a one-on-one. There's only one blocker up.
Tammy, going into this matchup, very important keys for both these teams. How have these clubs executed on what they wanted to do tonight?
As Coach Gorel mentioned for Campbell, they wanted to pass better. They wanted to feed a lot of their hitters, and I think they've absolutely done that. A&T, they knew returning serve, how they pass would be key, and they haven't quite been able to do that.
Even the matchup in the middle, you think about what A&T can do with Porche in the middle, along with Shea Hall, who's been really quiet in terms of blocks. And meanwhile, Haley Wilson leads all players with 5 blocks tonight. A little different than we expected. Credit to Campbell's front line.
Yes, Campbell's block, you can see they've been really intentional. They've been watching A&T's offense. And get back to that passing. A&T has not been able to be in system, therefore they can't run their middles, and that puts a lot of pressure on their pins.
That pressure has resulted in an .091 hit percentage. Campbell, meanwhile, .276 with 38 kills. Edie Brewer pushes outside and denied the double team of Kala and Page.
You see Melody Page, Sarah Kala again, a great setup.
Oh, that was all Kala that time.
All Sarah Kala. Good movement out there to get in line with Naya Satel.
5 block assists, 3 digs, and 9 kills for Kala. That's playing more like an all-conference outside hitter. Howell off the hands of Page, and it may have cost her teammate. That's a point for A&T to stop a 5-0 run.
Just a little late there by Melody Page, getting her hands completely up and pressed for that swing.
So Hannah Howell stops the run. She's at 5 kills, needs some help from her offense. Here's Satel. Deep float serve to Fector. Cook one-on-one. That's a win every time for Chloe Cook. Give her 13.
Again, I think you might see with Campbell, this might be the most unbalanced their offense is tonight, because they keep feeding Chloe Cook as they should, because she's been unstoppable.
That's her 9th match with 10 or more kills. Really heating up in this battle of 2nd and 3rd place in the Big South. Minor up in the air. That's a tight angle for Cook, trying to jump up and find it from the 10-foot line. And the swing is out from Hayden Howell. So all of a sudden, Campbell 6 points from a sweep in this match.
Not, I would say, the match we were anticipating. We'll see if A&T can, again, get more in system, perhaps set their middles.
That's a good swing through the block. Mackenzie Richards with the point. 181 career kills for the senior. And T's gone deep to the bench tonight. Here's Andrea LeBoy Rivera, the reigning libero of the week. Those two, Fector and LeBoy Rivera, have won the award the last 5 weeks running. And an ace will continue that stretch.
And rightfully so. Both liberos just so scrappy, so competitive and just getting balls up for their team all over the place on the floor.
Who is your vote for libero of the year in the conference?
That's a tough question. But right now I would say Clara Fector. Seen some amazing plays by her.
What a win. The joust is put down by Green, who's coming alive with her 7th kill. And there's the balance that Greg Gorel wanted from his offense.
Yes, Layla Green coming alive a little bit more now, making some nice cross-court shots to challenge A&T's defense.
When these teams met on October 9th, it was a 5-set thriller. Much different story here at the end of the month. Brewer back set, and Cook saves it. And just a bit late for Maddie Miner. And Fatima Shabazz with the kill, along with Maya Johnson there. A&T in this 3rd set hitting their best percentage of any, just 107. There's Morgan Allen with the float serve. A lot of trouble for Miner, who runs the 10-foot line. And Green is denied. There's that front block. 2.5 blocks is set for A&T. This time Maya Johnson.
Nice read there by Maya Johnson to get over there and set up. Good press. Layla Green pulling it down a little bit into their hands.
Patterson off balance. Oh, that almost found the floor. Brewer wins the joust. Now Green, roll shot, scooped up. Brewer on the move. Howell, down line and in. What a finish. Timeout, Campbell, and how about this swing by Hannah Howell?
It was a good high swing, trying to challenge Campbell's block purposely there and just nailing the back of the end line.
Pepsi is the official beverage partner of the Big South Conference. Drink a refreshing Pepsi today. Well, we got you for a minute. Geico and Hercules Tires, the official tire sponsor of the Big South Conference. See what you can save. Let's keep them rolling. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew. The official drink of the Big South. That's all we got. So, Tammy, it's a 4-point lead. How does Campbell finish off this match in straight sets?
I think they continue to just set their pins and have them swinging, challenge the block, continue to pass, continue to serve aggressively, and they shouldn't have a problem here closing out this set.
See those new patches for North Carolina A&T, their first year in the Big South. All they've done is go 7-3 in the conference. This is a two-time champion of the MEAC conference joining the Big South, but they've had no answers for Campbell tonight.
Not tonight, even though they're known for their blocking. We've seen more this set, but not as many across the match. And they've really struggled offensively to get their hitters consistently hitting good balls.
Hitting just 106, led by 9 kills from Naya Sawtelle. And here's Morgan Allen back to serve. Minor, how about that angle to Green, who touches the floor. Pretty play all the way around.
It's a great shot to be able to have in your arsenal when you're a hitter that you can go up and just tip over the block. And that's what I mean by challenging the defense. So you swing hard, get them thinking that's what you're going to do, and then you go throw that off-speed shot when they're not expecting it.
Maddie Minor with her 13th assist as Emily Mitter pushes it long. Keep an eye out for Mitter. She's one dig away from a double-double. She has 10 of those in her career. Hannah Howell back to serve. Oh, dangerous defector. A&T trying to stave off elimination in this third set. Brewer out wide, Sawtelle to the floor. And Naya Sawtelle now in double figures with 10 kills.
Little tight of a set to her there. Good heads up play by Naya Sawtelle to, again, just get that right over the block.
Wilson tipped to the net. Here's Green. Off the block, the tool for the point. And Layla Green's taken 25 swings. She's now got a rhythm with 8 kills.
Yes, you see her more in a flow, switching up her shots a little bit, not pulling them down as much. Can work the angles of the block more in her last few swings.
Green to serve now. Part of a Campbell attack with 6 aces tonight. And a block for Wilson's dugout. Sawtelle tight, scooped by Green. Mitter, back set Patterson. Brewer goes again to Sawtelle. And a double touch gives Campbell the point. They are 2 from the match. Hal Clifton using a challenge. Good time to do it, Tammy, with the Sawtelle touch.
Yes, I think Coach Clifton and his team thinking that the block actually touched the ball. A referee saying no, it did not.
Oh, there's a lot of hands there from Patterson. If we can run that back one more time, here we go.
Yeah, so if you see a touch there, maybe by Ananda Patterson. If not, it would be 4 touches. Did she touch it here? I think she may have. She was over enough for forearms.
There's a great look. Patterson's hands are pressing forward, but did she make contact? Because if it hits the tape, it's a double touch.
Oh, and even Haley Wilson's right hand. And normally I would say when the ball touches the block, you know, it came off a little harder. If it just kind of hits the net, it's going to drop a little bit typically. So I think Campbell's block did touch it. Let's see if we can pause it here.
That's some phantom effect if it cut through her arm there. I mean, everything looks like there's a touch. Well, that's hard to tell. A nice challenge by Hal Clifton. You need it at this point because it would make it 23-18, and that's almost insurmountable. Our down ref is checking out the video monitor here for review.
And like you said, a good time to throw this challenge. You want to extend this game. If you win the challenge, then that's your point, and then you're just a few more points away to get back in it.
Big decision for Hal Clifton. His club has to bounce back against Hampton tomorrow. And Campbell gears up to face #1 and top seed High Point, who's won 26 straight Big South matches. That's quite a feat as those two heavyweights meet tomorrow.
Just impressive what High Point has continued to do in the spring season, or the COVID season as you would call it, and then again this fall. And they have a mix of upperclassmen as well as newcomers to their program. And they've been able to continue to do what they do, and then this dominate with hitting and being scrappy on defense.
You see the big number there, second in opposing assists. They make an offense so difficult to get going. That's been a key story of tonight's match.
Yes, I think what Campbell does well, again, they dig a lot of balls that then gives them a lot of attempts, but then defensively holding teams down.
Haley Wilson wins the battle at the net, so it's back to 23-18. North Carolina A&T has not been in system all night. 19 hitting errors. And now Green can serve this match away. There's a bullet to Allen as LeBoy Rivera bumps to Sautel. And she misses long, gets a touch at the net. So it's 23-19. Closest of any set we've seen today, Tammy.
And now you have Shea Hall and Naya and Edie Brewer in the front row. This is a good position for them to be in if they're going to make a comeback here.
Need some success in serving as well. So a serve specialist, Nadia Montalban Elheriche, checks in out of Granada, Spain. Mitter back set to Patterson. There's Heriche. Sautel tools the block, and A&T with 3 straight points.
Smart decision, again, going to Naya Sautel, your leader in kills for your team. And she able to use the block that time, going off Ananda Patterson's hand.
Deep float serve to Fector. Cook flies in and dug up by LeBoy Rivera. Oh, saved by Green at the last second. She thought it was in. Instead, it's a 2-point game.
Oh, man, you think, did her teammates tell her that ball was possibly going, oh, it was close, it was close. You could argue that she probably needed to play that.
23-21, 3 straight points for the Aggies. Elheriche to serve. This is a critical moment in set 3. Mitter up to Cook. Saved by Allen and down for the point. Match point upcoming.
Chloe Cook again, just a strong swing. Really taking advantage of that block being a little late.
Campbell serves for the match. Brewer, middle, dug up and down. Middle attack of Shabazz, her 5th kill. And there's Shea Hall, only her 2nd kill of the match. So it's 24-22 here in the 3rd.
You can only think, what if Shea Hall would have had more attempts at this point? Unfortunately, they haven't been, but she could help them get back in it.
Edie Brewer, 3rd in program history in aces, needs a big serve here. Kala gets blocked at the net. That's Mackenzie Richards, the denial. We have a bench warning on A&T. A lot of energy on that play at the net.
Yes, now you see them trying to come alive a little bit.
24-23. Match point again. Fector returns. Here's Cook for the match. That is out, and it's 24 apiece.
Wow.
Timeout, Greg Gorel and Campbell. How about the adjustment? A&T, 4 straight points to stay alive.
They really had some nice control there with their ball control. Serving Campbell, but then the blocks, set up 2 really good blocks that affected Campbell's offense. And Chloe Cook, that last swing, first error in a long time.
Campbell was sitting pretty, 24-21, and the block of A&T has come alive. They're known as the best blocking team in this conference, ranked 9th in the country. It came alive at a perfect time in set 3.
Yes, they were able to block the pins. Even made Chloe Cook, I think, on that last swing. She went long, went high above their hands. The ball was out. Making Campbell think here about what they have to do on these last few shots. It's not as easy as they've had it.
Greg Gorel mentioned playing gritty to pull out a match. This has a very eerie feeling to the first time these teams met. Campbell won the first 2 sets. A&T grinded out set 3 and forced it to 5. What a great finish we have upcoming.
Yes, Campbell does not want to lose this set because that's just going to give A&T that momentum, and they're going to carry it into that next set if possible.
So both captains called on here for a quick discussion.
Yeah, there's a little bit of I'd say A&T on their side, little talk across the net when Mackenzie Richards made that block. It's in volleyball, it's not something you're supposed to do. You're supposed to turn your back and just celebrate with your team. And last time these two teams played, it definitely got emotional. There was probably a lot of words spoken across the net from what I heard.
You hear the energy here in set 3. 2 clubs fighting for a top 2 seed in the Big South. And it comes down to this, 24 apiece as A&T serves for the lead in the set. Brewer floats it in. Mitter back to Cook. Blocked. And A&T was set point. There's Naya Sautel.
I think Chloe Cook was trying to go down the line on this swing and just turned it right into Naya Sautel.
Can A&T pull off a magical run? Down 24-21. Sautel pushes over, and it's down for the point. A&T wins set 3, 26-24, and 5 straight points takes us to a 4th set. We'll have it for you after this. Oh my gosh, on ESPN+. Well, Tammy, North Carolina A&T winners of 5 straight points down the set thanks to some impressive blocking.
Yes, and Coach Clifton putting in some different players. You see Mackenzie Richards there, Fatima, or Shea and Naya causing the error there by Chloe Cook.
And that's the point that sent us to set 4. Tammy, this match matters for a ton of reasons, but how about in the conference? Top 2 teams get a bye, and North Carolina A&T wants to move up towards second. Campbell knows they play High Point tomorrow. They need a win to set up a matchup for first on Saturday.
Yes, Campbell does not want to drop both matches in this weekend because that could definitely cause some changes. And A&T wins, and they're up there, and it's going to be a battle. If High Point continues to win, then it's a battle for second.
North Carolina A&T winners of 4 straight. They have really come to play. Edie Brewer and the confidence of this team. How inspiring is a dramatic third set win like that?
That just gives you so much momentum and confidence, and they're going to have this energy now that you'll see out there come about in your play. In those first 2 sets, very controlled. Campbell leading and dominating the tempo and pace of it. And then for the A&T to come back out like that, they're just going to be ready to take it to them.
A&T won sets 3 and 4 in Greensboro to force a 5th. And Haley Wilson starts set 4 with a kill. She has 5 blocks tonight, along with now 6 kills. How's she been so involved?
She's just been able to do everything for Campbell with blocking and attacking the net. Again, not a lot of attempts you see from Haley Wilson, but she's efficient, and she just hits the corners of the court.
Hannah Howell misses long. No touch at the net. So Tammy, if you're Campbell, the favorite coming in, you win the first 2 sets. How do you avoid the lull in the emotion that A&T has built after a big third set win?
Well, they need to remember that they are passing well, they are playing well. They just had a few more errors in that set, and not let that pressure the block put on them at the end affect what's been working.
What's been working is a .250 hit percentage tonight. There's Mitter to scoop up the dump. Cook soars off the block for the kill. 15 kills for Chloe Cook. That is 3 shy of her career high.
Chloe Cook continuing to go up and play with confidence, swinging with confidence there, getting the inside of the block.
This is a block for A&T that ranks 9th in the country in opponent hit percentage. They're a stout front line. This is going to be a tight, yep, there's a double touch for Kala. So A&T its first points of set 4. The last thing you want to do after the emotion of winning set 3 is fall behind 10-2, 9-4, and this is a critical juncture for A&T.
Right, you want to.
Oh, and an ace helps. There's Howell making it 3-2.
Yeah, I was just about to say that Campbell's got to pass well here in this serve receive. They don't want to get stuck here, as well as A&T wanting to put that pressure on here with their serve.
And you say stuck with Cook and Green in the back row in this rotation, correct? As Cook comes to the front, hits it off hands, and that's out off of Sawtell. How about Chloe Cook in this last stretch? 33 kills last week. She hit .290, has followed that up today by hitting .294. Another rinse, wash, and repeat performance. That's
high efficiency for Chloe Cook. It's great. You want to see your pin hitters, if they're hitting above a .250, it's really incredible.
And when a team like Campbell's hitting above .250, they have to avoid errors like that, the service department. How about the resiliency of North Carolina A&T, a club that has never played in this conference, was picked 6th in the preseason, and has shown why they can hang around with a third set win to push this to 4.
I think it speaks to their competitiveness that Coach Clifton and his staff have really prepared them for. Another great swing there. Sarah Kala with confidence on, even with a good block set up there by A&T.
You mentioned that confidence. A&T has 6 matches left. They're playing it like it's just 1 of 6, but certainly the energy has been amped up tonight. As Sawtell is forced to set it to Howell. That misses wide. And A&T in this set, Tammy, 3 hitting errors, no kills. Have to improve upon that as we continue. Here's Chloe Cook on the float serve. Andrea LeBoy Rivera really struggling on that one. And sneaking it through, Hannah Howell off the hands of Melody Page.
Again, just a miss by Melody Page. Not quite pressing on time on that block. She had her hands in a good position, though.
A&T in this Big South Conference, 2nd in hit percentage behind High Point. Searching for more answers offensively. Overpasses really help. There's Shea Hall to clean it up.
And this is where Campbell did not want to put themselves in a position, one where they have more than one error in a row and then struggling with that first contact.
Minor, that's a long back set to Kala, dug up by Brewer. Sautel touches hands. Oop, Fector steps in front. So Green goes cross court on the angle shot. Sautel's turn from the 10-foot line. Funneling everything to Claire Fector. And Page does not get hands at the net. Point A&T. Would you use a challenge here, Coach Tammy Freese?
That's a tough one. I'm usually like, no, let's wait and see, but it might be a good time.
So Greg Gorel initiates the challenge. Let's take a look at home. Was there a touch at the net on this swing?
See a nice setup here. Maybe possibly on Mackenzie Richards' right hand or left.
If we could slow that down just a bit, it may help. You have to look for the misdirection or the movement of the ball. That's something I don't notice on that replay.
And then sometimes too, I mean, it could just be a fingertip that gets it. And when you're a hitter at the net, you can often even hear it, or you see it better than what we can on camera. Ball was definitely landed out for sure, so there's no question there. It's just a matter, was there a touch, even if it's a fingertip?
Melody Page having one of her tougher matches in Big South play this year. How does Campbell get the middles more involved as we go deeper into this match?
And that was a good run there by Melody Page. She went for what we call a 31 set, so trying to beat the block, and Maddie Miner feeding it to her well. Sometimes though you have to make that right decision. Was that the best time? The double block did kind of close on her early. And you move them around a lot. That was another way to get your middles involved, not having them run up the middle all the time. And that's what Campbell was trying to do.
Here's Hal Clifton in year 9. His club looks for a 3rd straight NCAA tournament appearance. There's something to be said about the resiliency of this club, especially knowing you're playing in this building in 3 weeks for a conference tournament.
Yes, to come into the home court of Campbell and where the Big South tournament is going to be hosted, experience the environment, and then to come back after being down 2 sets, again, speaks to how competitive A&T is and wants to be, and send a message to the teams in this conference that they're ready to be a part of this.
Both teams finding success in set 3 offensively, and that was not the story early in this match, Tammy. It does make you wonder if Shea Hall just completely cleans that one up.
Yes, if A&T, I think, can get Shea Hall more involved, they'll see some good success there. She gets so high, which is impressive, not just with her block, but when she swings. She is up there, and that's going to make it really difficult on Campbell's block and defense.
You see our down ref continuing to watch that play. The more angles you see, the wonder will this call get overturned. Currently ruled out, no touch of the net.
That's going to be a really difficult call for the referee to make, especially if you don't have more of a close-up on the net to see if it touched a finger, or if you can zoom in.
Okay, here's the play. The reactions are priceless between the two clubs.
Yeah, Melody Page immediately saying touch, and the other, watch number 3, Mackenzie Richards, what she does when she comes down.
Checks the fingernails.
Like, okay, like,
well,
yeah,
did I lose a piece of the nail there?
Because sometimes it's habit for a blocker to go up and like do that.
So the call stands, no touch at the net. There's our down ref with the decision. So Tammy, it's 6-6, and A&T, how have they weathered the storm of a slow start?
Yes, well, taking advantage of serving aggressively to Campbell, overpasses, a few errors on Campbell's side, and that's why they're right in it.
Call a one-on-one, wins it every time. 11 kills on 20 attempts for Sarah Kala.
This is where A&T is going to want to push points, though. They still have Naya Sautel in this rotation, and Sarah Kala has now moved to the back row.
Kala in double figures in conference play for the 8th time in 10 matches. Brewer goes middle to Hall and sneaks it past Page. We mentioned Shea Hall coming in, such a productive hitter, best in the hitting percentage in this league. Only 4 kills tonight.
Yes, A&T has not been able to get her the ball as much, I know, as they have liked. A lot of that, again, with that first contact with passing. But there, just how effective she can be.
Wow, Green into the seats, and Cook frees it over. Brewer middle, Hall dug up by Fector. Now Patterson on the back row. What a touch by Brewer. Who's going to grind out this point for the lead in set 4? Brewer's turn. Howell, there's Fector. Green out. Point A&T, their first lead of the set.
Edie Brewer almost falling backwards when she was digging that ball for A&T.
That is absorbing contact and keeping her team alive. Brewer up to 25 assists and 5 kills from a double-double. Okay, that's disappointing, Tammy. All the emotion of a long rally, you win a point, and you give the lead right back in one service error.
In one serve. But I will say it's because these teams know they have to serve so aggressive. I know fans often get frustrated, like, why can't they just put the ball in? But it's strategic, and now you have to push those passers back.
Campbell with 6 aces tonight. A&T has 2. Mitter goes back set to Patterson. Now Brewer. Oh, that's a good touch, as Richards got a tip from Wilson. Green over the wall and into the line. That is down and in. Despite the argument from Edie Brewer, point Campbell.
Here you see Layla Green throwing that off speed, wanting to challenge the defense just over the block. That's just an area that a pin hitter can hit that most likely your defense is down the line not going to get to it.
Layla Green with 9 kills, now 10 officially. Both teams going to the towels here. Oh, towels on the shoes. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. I've seen towel on the court, but when you put a wet towel on your feet, wouldn't that make it more slick?
No, it's supposed to actually make it sticky. Like, kind of get some of the sweat off as well, especially if you walk through someone's sweat that they left on the floor.
The way these teams have been diving around through 4 sets, we have a thriller matchup for second place in the Big South. Green off hands. There's Hall flying around. Green again. That was a neat angle on the roll shot. Back row touch, but she couldn't stay behind the line. Sautel tried, and Campbell takes the 2-point lead. How much of that's on Edie Brewer with the set, and then Howell with the timing, trying to stay back behind the 10-foot line?
Timing there, I think Nia Sautel maybe actually a little early, and then so she's up in the air, a little quick coming down as the ball's still high.
Court's a little slick tonight, or maybe a little sticky, in fact.
We're getting to that point now. We're in the 4th set. Everyone has sweated a ton, and so anytime someone hits the floor, they're probably going to leave some sweat there.
When you have a combined 100 digs as well, there's a lot of bodies. So our down ref wants to clean up another spot on the court. Got to add that to Hal Clifton's coaching resume. 9 years, 104 wins, and some towel duty in the 4th set. There you go. Thanks, Hal. A little different story on both benches with the energy ample tonight. There's a service error, giving it right back. Campbell with 6 errors tonight, 6 aces.
Both teams know how aggressive they have to be with their serving, because you just get the ball over and it's an easy pass. It's going to be hard to defend. It's probably going to go to a middle, and those are typically your most efficient hitters.
Mitter has to bump it. That ball's tipped alive for Brewer, and LeBoy Rivera over to Howell. That's a long shot that Cook grabs. Here's Green from the 8-foot position. Oop, tight for Brewer. Mr. Target, but found Howell somehow. Wilson in system, dug up by Brewer. Sautel. Patterson's turn. Off balance and Mr. Timing. That's another long rally that A&T's won in this set.
Yes, Campbell not getting those transition kills. They're getting a lot of digs, some really great digs. That one a little far off. And Ananda Patterson normally on the right side. She's on the left side here and not used to getting those out of system sets.
26 digs for Brewer. That's a new season high. She has been ever involved. Oh, Green knocked it down, and the dump is scooped up by Cook. Fector bumps it over from the back row. Brewer, backside. Missing long, no touch, and the error by Richards puts Campbell in front.
I'm surprised in that rally, honestly, that the first referee did not call a double on Edie Brewer. They established that precedence back in like set 2 against Maddie Minor, and that one to me was clearly a double, but looks like we're going to let these teams play.
These teams have a combined 9 straight victories. Something has to give. Whoa, what a save by Richards over Howell. Midder's turn, back row, Green. Sharpshooter is out. My goodness, Tammy, the rallies in this set have been incredible.
I think we're seeing a little bit more energy on this defense.
All it took was A&T to fall behind 2-0 and match point 4 times to find a revitalized North Carolina A&T club. Deep float serve for Green, who mishandles it a touch. Patterson and System dug up by Allen. Oh. Wilson, another touch for Allen. And Sautel's efforts for Knott. Love the tenacity here in the 4th set. Watch out, camera.
Haley Wilson again hitting that right back corner, making a tough play on A&T.
Fector, deep serve, a little miss up between Allen and LeBoy Rivera. Howell off hands towards us. Oh, and point North Carolina A&T. 12-12 in the 4th. Remember, it was Campbell jumping out 4-1 early. A good response from A&T here lately.
And lots of back and forth here at the net even. So touches on the block. Digs up on that first contact.
Cook over the block, and that's a point. Chloe Cook with her 17th kill. Now with a double-double, 10 digs as well. We saw Cook very early, double figures in the blink of an eye in set 2. How does she regain her attacks and, more importantly, put balls away in this 4th set?
I think you'll see here now that she has Sarah Call up there with her, Melody Page. Hopefully some of the pressure will be off. But swinging confidently like she did on her last swing.
Campbell up to 7 service errors in this match, and at an odd time to do it.
Unlike Maddie Minor to have service errors in a row like that, her last time serving at this time.
Tammy, you spent a decade coaching in the Division I level. When in your mind, if you're Campbell, does it start to sink in, oh boy, this might go 5? The pressure of A&T playing so well here as of late.
I think they're feeling it now because they know they don't want to be in that position. And right now in this close set, it's looking like that.
Melody Page, a one-touch in system. That's pretty.
And that's the Melody Page Campbell's been waiting for this whole match. Great pass by Claire Fector.
And beats the block of Hall one-on-one, who's the nation's leader in blocks per set. So Chloe Cook to serve, riding a double-double. Oh boy, Tammy, this is inexcusable for Campbell tonight at the service line. 7 errors.
And how much is, you could say, fatigue is playing a little bit at this point. A little bit more pressure now on the minds of Campbell since they lost that third or in this position.
And you're playing the top team in the league, High Point tomorrow, who just wrapped up a victory. They've won 27 straight in the Big South. Page, that is out. Campbell hitting 140 in this set. So back and forth we go, 14-15.
I think Campbell is really trying to.
We'll take our media timeout. North Carolina A&T leads by 1 here in set 4. Set. A&T leads 15-14, trying to force a fifth set tonight. Collins dug up. Vector, beautiful. Cook's turn. That is out past the back line. And the scramble points have gone all to A&T here in set 4.
Yeah, it's incredible play there by Clarion Vector to keep that ball alive. Campbell transitioning into an attempt, but just not able to land those kills.
So we saw Clarion Vector slip earlier in that point. This court a little bit sticky here as we roll into set 4.
We see a little bit of frustration here on Campbell's players. A little frustration there in their hitters. We'll see if they can regroup here.
Brewer with an ace, and A&T leads by 3. By the way, Edie Brewer, third all-time in career aces, 167 in A&T history. Almost a second ace as Vector got a touch on it. Cook takes a missile, and it's put back in play by Richards. Miner has her options, goes to Kala, and the kill for Sarah Kala, now with 12.
I like that Campbell keeps setting their right side pins when they're over there. When Sarah Kala has that much space and can swing with that much power, she's going to put it away.
Sarah Kala gets the clearance to serve. Her team has 7 aces and 7 errors on the line. Brewer's dump is picked up by Miner. That's one setter reading another. In transition, Richards off hands for the point, and A&T's up 3.
How about Mackenzie Richards just coming in for A&T and being such a spark, getting some blocks over here on the right side, swinging on the left side.
Her season high is 6 kills, but these attacks have come at a critical point in this match.
Coach Clifton used quite a few different players there in that third set to force this fourth one.
When these teams last met, she did not have a single attack in that 5-set thriller. Cook shoots it into the air. And now, Tammy, we mentioned the shift in momentum. Here's A&T up 4, a chance to force a 5th set.
And you can see what A&D has done to Campbell to put more pressure on them. Are seeing Chloe Cook, Layla Green making some more errors that they weren't making in that first set. Just balls going along, not finishing their swing.
See a substitution here. Emily Camp checks into the front row, the redshirt freshman, Virginia Tech transfer. And Elise Groves comes in to pass for Chloe Cook. Can Sautel take advantage? Miner in system. Page is blocked. Shea Hall, the nation's leader in blocks per set, puts on a show.
Shea Hall, so big at the net, presses over.
Timeout, Greg Gorel, he's seen enough. And Tammy, how about the adjustment from A&T in set 4 to jump ahead and maybe put this set away?
We are seeing that match that they had last time. This is exactly what happened when they saw each other before. And that's a tough ball for Melody Page too. It's a little more off the net. It's gonna be hard for her to really see where her block is. And unfortunately just swings right kind of in the direction of Shea Hall.
Shea Hall leads the conference in blocks per set. She was outstanding when these teams met in October. Now you see in this match, Tammy, Campbell had this put away, led 24-21 in the third. And here comes A&T fighting back, a chance to force a 5th set. What an incredible run from A&T.
A&T, it's been phenomenal to keep that confidence, to keep that competitiveness through the end of set 3. And you have to wonder, though, that ball that Layla Green played in the backcourt that looked like it was going out when they had 24, what a difference that made.
What an important match in the conference. These two clubs want to earn a top 2 seed in the Big South. A win for Campbell separates them from the pack. A&T's victory jams that 2, 3, and 4 spot oh so close.
It makes it much more challenging on Campbell, where they wouldn't be comfortable going into that match tomorrow.
High Point comes to town tomorrow. A&T faces High Point in a week and a half. There's some heavy hitters facing each other in the Big South. Miner, good jump set. Green finishes down line, and Layla Green's up to 11 kills. That's a good play call out of the timeout from head coach Greg Gorel.
Campbell continues to see success setting that that right side pin, and I think they're going to continue to do that.
So Mitter comes in to serve for Minor. Tight at the net. Richards is tipped over. Wilson in system, got a hand on it, and Haley Wilson, ever effective, 7 kills, and she's hitting over 500.
Haley Wilson, nice controlled ball there. She had to play off the block.
Richards through the block of Wilson, and these teams trading points. A&T 4 from the set.
You see their A&T being what we call in system there. Now they're having their passes up the net. Now Campbell has to think about Shea Hall getting the ball, and then Edie Brewer reversing it to the right side.
Remember, North Carolina A&T had to win 5 straight points to force this 4th set. They're within 5 points of pushing this to 5. As we have a question on the substitution pattern. You're allowed 15 substitutes per set. That's not the issue, about who's in the right spot. As Hal Clifton gets his answer, and here's Andrea LeBoy Rivera to serve. She sits 3rd all-time in career digs for A&T. But she's been a back point to Edie Brewer. Those two have been dominant on the back line. Green, roll shot, finds the floor, and Layla Green heating up with 4 kills in this set.
And that's what Layla Green needs to get going again. She goes up like she's going to swing hard and just slows.
And her
that
face
wrist.
tells the story, right?
Oh yeah, that
the
smile.
reaction was fantastic.
That smile from her. Now you can tell she's getting back in it.
Late into set 4. Brewer goes outside. Howell touches hands, and a net violation, point A&T.
Net violation called there on Haley Wilson, I believe.
Doesn't take much, but just enough here. Yep, on that follow through, you see the net's shaking. Ooh, bump set from Fector to Cook. Her roommate splashes it across the court. Howell, roll shot, found by Mitter. Here's Cook. Dominant swing.
Campbell in a position here where they can push points.
That's one-on-one with Maya Johnson. It's a 3-point difference in set 4. A&T trying to force set 5. Fector scoops it up. That's her 19th dig. Brewer on the run, gives way to Howell. Nice touch by Mitter. Here's Kala through traffic. Long rally. Brewer is into the back corner.
Heads up play by Edie Brewer, taking the ball as the setter in the front row and just finding that corner. That just shows how smart she is at looking across the net while she's in play.
7 kills, 29 assists, 7 digs. And Kala misses long. A&T with set point. Boy, how things have changed in the last 2 sets.
The momentum shift has been just so incredible. Campbell really struggling, hitting balls out that they were not doing in the first 2 sets.
Green mishandles the serve. Layla's turn. A&T can swing for the set. Richards, that is down for the point, and Maya Johnson secures set 5, 25-19. Buckle up, folks, here we go. Set 5 coming up after this commercial break on ESPN+. We head to set 5 on this play right here. Campbell struggling with the serve, and Maya Johnson puts the final point away.
Yeah, just a great aggressive swing there. Haley Wilson not quite up there on time.
So here's how we've gotten to this point, Tammy. Campbell won the first 2 sets in convincing fashion, but A&T down to match point in the third, wins 5 straight points, and then pulling out set 4. These teams have had different stories in 5-set matches. A&T 3-3 this year. Campbell 1-3 with that lone win coming against A&T back on October 9th.
This will be a really competitive, aggressive, emotional fifth set I think that we're going to see here. And I'm already seeing some changes. Campbell starting in a different rotation than they have, starting with Maddie Miner serving, Sarah Kalla up front. You see A&T starting slightly different, having Edie Brewer, though, in the front row, but setting in a 5-1 rotation. And
Sautel coming to the front row as we rotate through this 5th and final set. Race to 15. Brewer goes out wide, and Howell's return is out. Point A&T. Oh, so close to an opening point for Campbell.
Almost dug by Layla Green there to a point. A good pass by A&T to keep them in system.
Page through the block in system, and Melody Page responds. That's her 3rd kill.
Melody Page getting so high on this ball and just almost too tight, just popped it over though.
That's where the 5-1 can be tough for Brewer at the net with Johnson next to her. Here's Sautel. Cook gets a hand on it. Kalla has to free it over. A&T in transition. On the slide, dug up by Miner. Here's Cook, good touch. Brewer out to Sautel, off balance. Miner's turn to Kalla. Brewer left-handed in for the point.
I almost thought it was out myself. That was so close. Another heads-up play by Edie Brewer.
Edie Brewer, 7 kills, 31 assists, 6 digs. She has been excellent in so many ways.
And you see Coach Clifton making that change earlier on this match to just have Edie run the offense, all 6 rotations there. So taking herself as a hitter, but she has got her team back into this match.
How about Shea Hall checking back in? The huge presence in the middle, leads the conference in blocks and hit percentage. What a 5th set we have on hand. Here's Nadia Montalban El Jeriche in to serve out of Granada, Spain. Only her 42nd set of the season. Miner goes back to Kalla. That is easy money, but she missed the line. But does get a tip at the net. Late call there, so it's 2-2.
See the down ref calling a touch, up referee calling a touch there.
Yeah, off the arms of Sautel. So 2-2 here in the 5th. Race to 15. Kalla riding her 12 kills on this serve, and that is freed by Allen, but short, an ace.
Miscommunication there, I think, a little bit in the passing line. Some confusion about who was going to take that ball.
Campbell won in 5 sets back on October 9th. That continues here with these teams battling for 2nd place in the Big South. Why that matters, the top 2 teams in the league get a bye in the conference tournament, which is 3 weeks from tonight. You may be right here in these chairs too.
Yes,
on ESPN+.
Looking forward to it. We're going to see matches like this.
And we'll see these 2 teams in the tournament along with High Point. The final 3 teams are to be determined with 2.5 weeks to go.
Very close still in conference. You see USC Upstate up there. Some other teams still trying to get into that 6th spot.
Kalla on the float serve. Here's Brewers, dished out 30 assists. Gross has to bump to Green, who goes cross court, and there's Andrea Lavoy Rivera. Jeriche. Miner, long touch to Green, it goes down line. Good rally in set 5. Into the net, Sautel is out. So point A&T, the block goes out of play, and it's 3-3.
I don't think the block quite had that press into the court. You want to see Ananda have that right hand in there. Maybe a little late on that swing.
Yep, off Melody Page for the point. Minor has her options, goes middle. Good recovery by Sautel. Blocked. Layla Green gets her hands on it.
Tip over the block. Melody Page trying to score there. Layla seeing that hitter early. And getting over the net early on that press.
32 combined blocks in this match. Brewer's turn. That's an off-balance swing for Sautel. Green tight to the net. There's El Heriche. Tipped at the net, point A&T. Mackenzie Richards has had a huge match. 5 kills at critical times.
And hitting on the left side and right side. I love seeing that cross body swing, again showing that she's going to go one direction and just cutting it back off the side of the block.
Race to 15 in this 5th and final set. Patterson touches over. Oh, Brewer found it and freed across Sautel. Oh, here we go. Heriche, the bump set. Howell off hands. Mitter's turn in rotation to Patterson. Dug up by Heriche. Sautel from the back row hits Fector. What a dig by Claire-Anne, her 20th. Brewer, middle, down for the point. Shea Hall found space on the court, and A&T takes the lead.
So many just crazy touches in that rally, but putting that ball up and it's going for that tip. That was her left hand. Layla Green just reaching up, trying to get it.
5th kill for Hall, is now hitting 400 in this match. And Sautel gives one away. Hard thing to do in a race to 15.
And sometimes it's just a little off there with Nia Sautel. It could be your toss, it could be your contact, but to pull it down to the net, this is something you don't want to see, but Campbell's grateful for.
Layla Green back to serve. Campbell's had 8 service errors in this match. A good one that time. Richards off of Cook's noggin and it falls in for the roof.
Tight ball set there to Mackenzie Richards. Really tough to be able to do something with that. Well, maybe not so tight as I thought. Just pulled it down into Chloe Cook's hands.
Campbell leads 6-5 in the 5th. Brewer goes wide. Howell off hands for the point, and we're even again. What's going to be the difference here in set 5?
It's gonna, as mentioned in the first set, coming down to who's gonna make less errors. Blocks on both sides doing well, getting touches, people making digs, making plays. Who's gonna not make a service error and a hitting error?
Chloe Cook had 16 kills when these teams first met for a 5-set win. She has 18 tonight. Patterson rolls over the block. Brewer goes right back to it. Howell and Mitter there to scoop it up. Here's Cook. A&T in system. Brewer to the back row. Mitter finds Cook. Roll shot dug up. Sautel on the bump. And that's freed over. And out. Critical mistake. Campbell leads 7-6.
Yes, on a ball like that, you just want to, if you have to free ball, then just put it over and in, preferably to the right side of the court, maybe where the setter could still come in contact with it.
Here's Claire-Anne Fector riding 21 digs. Brewer has to bump to Sautel. Here's Cook. Off the block and down. Mackenzie Richards with the roof.
Emily Mitter going to her go-to player there in Chloe. Just too far inside for Chloe to bring it down into the block. You have to go high hands there.
19 team blocks for A&T. That's a new season high. Allen on the float serve. Cook off hands. And Campbell wins the race to 8. Timeout on the court. We'll finish out set 5 right after this on ESPN+. here in set 5. Only decided by 1 point all night. Real competitive match with Tammy Freeze, Evan Budrovich with you from Gore Arena. Last time these teams met, a 5-set thriller. Tonight, much the same. What's going to be the difference here in set 5?
It's going to come down to which team is going to get a few more kills. It could come down to 1 kill. Who's going to make that less error? Who's going to be able to serve in and aggressive?
Maddie Miner, who's 4th in the conference in aces, serves. Brewer goes off balance to find Sattel. Campbell and system. Here's Kala. Dug up Sattel. Brewer dump. There's Fector. Kala again. Out on the near line. A&T even at 8.
I think Sarah Collar trying to get that line too much. She had so much space. She only had a 1 blocker in this case, especially where she has all the right side of the court.
That's a precise cut shot, and it's
yeah,
hard to do.
She's trying to go after, but she has more space if she just go cross.
Miner from her knees, and Kala finds the floor, making up for it with her 14th kill.
Sarah Collar going with a different swing that time. Back to that finesse she's learned. Right
Johnson didn't even jump for that block. That's uncontested.
That's true.
Didn't expect the swing there from Kala. Brewer on the move, goes to Sattel, and the point for A&T. Naya Sattel up to 15 kills.
Naya Sattel just showing so much more energy in the second part of this match, and she's really come alive. I think she really energized her team. I mean, she leads them in kills, and she came alive, and she's swinging with so much confidence against that block.
Double-double for Sattel. 15 kills, 16 digs. Now it's El Heriche in to serve. She has 10 aces in only 40 sets. Targets Fector. Kala. That is a missile.
Great pass by Clarion Fector on a tough serve, a tough deep serve. And Maddie Miner and Sarah Kala, such a great connection with those two.
Race to 15, win by 2 here in the 5th set. A battle for 2nd place in the Big South. Brewer goes right back to Sattel. Off hands. Dump, scooped by Kala. Here's Patterson. Howell has to free it. And Sattel misses her shot. Campbell leads by 2.
Naya Sattel saw that set being inside, scared, maybe a little timid on swinging on that ball, fearing that the block would be there.
Campbell hitting 158 in this 5th set, Tammy. How do the Camels close out these final 4 points?
If they can continue to pass and spread that offense pin to pin, and it just find a piece of the court, whether it's cross, line, roll shot to the middle, they should be just fine.
What a competitive match all the way through. The digs are even at 68 apiece, and really it's been the service errors of Campbell, the one stat you don't see, that got A&T momentum in that 3rd set to win sets 3 and 4.
Yes, a few more errors there for service aces. And then look at the kills. Campbell with more kills because they're getting more attempts, but not as efficient. They have more errors. And so that's why it could come down to, as evenly as the stats can be, it could be 1 kill, 2 kills, an error that makes the difference in this set.
Winner of this match sits in great position for 2nd place in the conference as Campbell gears up to match up with #1 High Point tomorrow. A&T has to bounce back, drive 3 hours up the road, and face Hampton tomorrow afternoon. So a tough turnaround for both. There's Sarah Kala in to serve. Brewer goes tight to Sattel off the block. Here's Green. That's a great firm hand from Brewer. Patterson over the double. A&T leads the conference in blocks. They have 19 tonight, and beating the block is Naya Sattel.
What makes Naya Sattel so effective is her fast arm swing. She's really quick on her draw and that swing. And you see Campbell's block not quite fully pressed.
Gross returns. The dump is picked up. Oh, Brewer. Nice save by Fector. Here's Green. Off hands for the points. 13 kills for Layla Green, none bigger than right here.
Clarion Factor chasing that ball down. Nice line shot by Layla Green.
Campbell 3 points for the match after dropping sets 3 and 4. What can Brewer dial up? Hall missed her, but got it over. Green through the block and in. 2 straight points for Layla Green.
And all of a sudden, Layla Green, it feels swinging again with her confidence, finding some court, finding some area that she can score.
What a race here in set 5, along with Tammy Freeze, Evan Budrovich with you. Matchup for second place in the Big South.
I don't know if we'll find any more intensity or pressure until the Big South Conference tournament is back here in 3 weeks.
And if the season ended today, these teams would meet in the semifinals of the conference tournament because of the presence of Layla Green here in set 5.
Hits that crossbody down the line.
The reaction from her bench tells the story. A lot of emotion on a Friday night in Bowie's Creek. Shabazz is dug up. Here's Green. Cross angle long, and A&T back within 2. 40 swings for Green tonight, 47 for Cook. Meanwhile, 53 attempts for Naya Sautel, who now has 16 kills.
A&T looking a little confused on what rotation they should be in or who's going in where.
So Shea Hall comes into the front row. Mackenzie Richards has been a spark plug, checks in. Very athletic front line for A&T. And Sautel will be in the back for the next 3 rotations. That's big here with Campbell at 13 points.
Yes, Campbell needs to push their points here while she is in the back row. And what they want to do here is just pass, again, passing system. Can you get the ball to Haley Wilson for a one-on-one, or it's going to go to Layla Green on the right side?
Second meeting between these clubs. Both have gone 5 sets. Campbell wants to win both in 5. Naya Sautel has other thoughts at the service line. And a service error is critical. Match point.
Such a crucial serve there.
Timeout, North Carolina A&T.
Yeah, to miss that serve, Naya Sautel trying to be aggressive, knowing that they have to get Campbell out of system there. It just went too long.
The student section ready to rock and roll here in Bowie's Creek. An environment that has put a lot of pressure on both these teams, motivating A&T in set 4. Now the pressure is right back on the Aggies, needing 3 straight points in the 5th.
And they have to pass. They'll have to pass. Campbell will have to defend. They'll have to put up a big block. Can A&T do it with who they have in the front row? Can they get the ball to Shea Hall?
Just a regular season match with a postseason intensity here in the 5th. Chloe Cook, the story, with 19 kills. And really, Layla Green in his 5th set has taken over.
She really has. She's been playing well in the back row, digging balls, making better decision on her swings, keeping that ball in play, scoring.
Here's Layla Green on the service line. She serves for the match here in set 5.
Last time Layla Green got the final point with a kill. Let's see if she can get it with a serve.
A&T wins set 3 and 4. Now in set 5, Campbell looks to put this match away with Layla Green at the service line. Brewer goes middle to Sautel, and Campbell swings for the match. Cook, the roll shot. Brewer tight. Hall is dug up. Here's Metter, back to Cook. Off hands and down for a 5-set win. Campbell takes it 15-11 in a thrilling 5-set match.
What an incredible match. This is what we came here for. This is what we were anticipating. I wasn't sure that was going to happen, but man, what a serve by Layla Green there. That jump float right over the top of the net, but aggressive. to get them out of play, out of system, and then to finish there, to come back from A&T.
Here's your
third.
Hercules Tires play of the match. The final point won by Campbell.
And Chloe Cook taking a big swing there. Again, going to her again, as they have all match. An aggressive cross-court swing there.
For Tammy Freeze, I'm Evan Budrovich. Thanking you for joining us tonight. Campbell takes it in 5 sets, moving to 10-1 in Big South play. They face High Point tomorrow with a chance to move into first place in the league. We'll see you tomorrow on ESPN+. For all of us here in Bowie's Creek, we say good night.